You'll all agree with me to give it a pause for a minute before I invite Dwiraj Sharma to give us a detailed note on what's happening in Nepal. Thanks, Ravi, for all the wonderful insights you gave.
Thank you, Balaji. I think our buffet is ready, and then we started getting tipsy. So, guys, maybe, I don't know if you have any time to listen to me, but then I'm just quickly going to read through some of the messages that I bring from Nepal. So, AAERI President Nisi Bora and executives, keynote speakers of the event, Professor Ren, VC of UniSQ, AOIDF Chair Jagman Klein, Phil Oniud, a lot of you left already, CEO of IEA, Dr. Monica Kennedy, still around, Senior TED Commissioner, Austrade, Jim Jubik, Senior Manager, Governance, Compliance, and Quality Control, Monash University, Reinhard from Study Adelaide, all university colleagues from respective universities gathered here today, my friends from AAERI Nepal, sponsors of the event, friends from media, all other distinguished guests, a very good evening and namaste. AAERI Nepal is about 6 years old now and growing strongly, even as I speak, with 40 members and about 250 offices across Nepal and overseas. I'm the founder, president, and current members of the executive committee. I was president for 4 years before I handed over to present president, Mr. Mahesh Bhagwati Malsina. Unfortunately, he could not make it to this event due to his other commitments. Unlike AAERI, we work very closely with Australian Embassy, Kathmandu, and the Australian High Commission, New Delhi, Austrade, and the Department of Education. Over the years, we have participated in a series of learning events, study tours within Australia, conducted AGMs and discussions forums in the presence of Australian alumni in Nepal, Austrade, and Australian Embassy, along with the Australian University representatives. Before I go on saying any more, I would like to emphasize on our missions, which has been to accommodate all ethical Nepalese education consultants working with Australian education providers under one roof and ensure steady growth for all, to work closely with the Australian Embassy, Kathmandu, and Australian High Commission, New Delhi, the Department of Education, Austrade, and related stakeholders on modules that will serve as a guiding principle for Nepalese students planning to pursue their education in Australia, to develop a strong relationship with the government of Nepal in order to continuously facilitate, to create favorable, safe, and progressive environment for Australia-bound students, education providers, and associated members as a whole. This is my first appearance at the AIC conference since 2019 Perth Convention. During the COVID era, we kept working closely with the Nepalese government to help in protecting businesses of the consultants which face the most adverse situation in their business careers, and thanks to the Australian government for giving both moral supports, all else to the Nepalese and other international students during the difficult time in Australia. Since we opened our mutual relationship with AAERI, we have been thankful to the Australian ambassador to Nepal, Peter Bird, and his team, and the current ambassador, Ms. Felicity Bhog, under whose leadership we have received and welcomed the Australian Deputy Foreign Minister's Honorable Tim Watts, and recently the Speaker of the Lower House, Honorable Milton Dick, along with Honorable MPs Libby Hooker, Senator for Victoria, Ralph Bobbitt, Senator Western Australia, Dean Smith, and MP Joanna Ryan. Their visits have happened after 60 years of our bilateral relationship, and I was one of the fortunate ones to meet them at the embassy in Kathmandu and discuss mutually beneficial issues. My present data states that at the end of 2021, 129 and 870 Nepalese-born peoples were living in Australia, almost 5 times the number in 30th June 2011. This is the 11th largest migrant community in Australia, equivalent to 1.7% of Australia's overseas-born population and 0.5% of Australia's total population. I am also happy to share that the Nepalese language is the 3rd largest speaking language in states such as ACT, Tasmania, and the Northern Territory. That's fantastic news, and we are proud of it, and at the same time feel immense pleasure as you embrace this populace. It gives us great pleasure to say that Nepal is still the third largest country, source country for Australia, along with education and other trade such as coal, food, pulses, and wines. Nepal contributes over $4 billion as a revenue to the Australian economy. This shows the potential of Nepal and possible establishment of the Austrade office in Kathmandu. That was a discussion we had recently in the embassy. In the recent times, the visa approval rates for higher education till June 2023 have reduced to 64.4%, and for the vocational course have been as low as 4%. That means we are totally discouraging vocational. We urge and request Australian government to continue issuing visas for genuine Nepali students and to formulate policies that are more permanent so as the consultant keep enrolling the right candidates and the dreams of achieving Australian high-quality education is fulfilled. Today, we have multiple high-quality Australian alumni that works in various sectors in Nepal, from entrepreneurs to medical professionals to high-level Nepali Rashtra Bank employees to media houses and to agriculture sector. This was the major agenda with the recent high-level delegation from Australia as to how we can help the Nepali students return to Nepal and help developing Nepal's economy. Nepal being the closest neighbors of world's giant economy like India and China, and the presence of 7 tallest mountains out of 10, the birthplace of Lord Gautam Buddha, and the multiple world's heritage sites along with the famous Hindu Pashupatinath pilgrimage temple, all these can be marketed properly and inviting high-value tourists will only be possible with high-quality human resources having been educated overseas, among which Australia is one of the most suitable and affordable for us. Now the Nepalese government should proactively explore this potential and help in developing the country. We are encouraging the Nepalese government to hold HR and investment summits targeting Nepalese graduates and investors in Australia to return and invest in Nepal. In conclusion, I would like to say one thing. We understand that the Australian government is planning to bring changes in the visa regime, which will probably be announced by the Education Minister, and some of them are already being announced. And I would like to mention that unlike previous years, we as an agent community welcome it wholeheartedly, but I request the policy makers to make sure it's sustainable. We cannot afford to only blame agents who are based outside Australia, because while selecting a student is not only the agents who can solely held responsible, we most certainly do our part, such background checks, financial integrity, even the family's education history and professional for up to 2 generations, but also the official appointed by the university who check its documents based on the GTE criteria. It is the High Commission that is directly involved while issuing visas, and they definitely charge certain amount of money for the services. So they also held responsible for the same. It's everyone's responsibility to protect the integrity of the Australian education, be it agents, universities, and colleges, the visa systems, and the students. Last but not the least, on behalf of AAERI Nepal, I would like to thank the AAERI leadership for providing this platform to share my thoughts. Thank you and have a great evening. Thank you very much.